Fans of Limitless Wrestling, we're back here at Let's Wrestle Volume 8 Counterculture. And we've got a dog collar match on our hands. The first one ever in Let's Wrestle history, as Frank Jaeger goes one-on-one with Eric Johnson. Eric Johnson, one half of the Stigma with Brandino Davis. A 13-year pro professional wrestling, and the experience advantage here very much in the hands of Eric Johnson. As I said, 13 years in the professional wrestling business as opposed to Frank Jaeger's 2. And you got to wonder here how much Eric Johnson knows about Frank Jaeger in a setting like this. Eric Johnson actually helped bring Frank Jaeger into the professional wrestling business. He had a hand in training him as well. So this is a very personal encounter. We've seen these skirmishes between Johnson and Jaeger over the past few months in Let's Wrestle, and it really came to a head last month when Jaeger cost the Stigma match with the Drifters. Oh, and Jaeger yanking that chain where the sun don't shine, and he's off to a hot start here. And Orno all behind frisky Frank Jaeger as he lands a dropkick and already taking Johnson off his feet. And now looking to drag the big man as Eric Johnson tried to roll out of the ring there, maybe trying to create some space, but there's no space to be had in a dog collar match. Oh, and Johnson clocked him with the chain right across the jawline of Frank Jaeger, and just like that, Eric Johnson takes control, and Eric Johnson is pissed. Frank Jaeger reeling, and Eric Johnson, big club across the back. This is not the four-corner tap version of the dog collar match. This is going to end via pinfall or submission here tonight, as Johnson soaks it in at the American Legion Post 84, and Orno, and a big shot once again to Frank Jaeger, just blistering him in the corner, and now wrapping the chain around his arm. Bad intentions in mind, but Jaeger, luckily enough, gets himself out of dodge. Charges Eric Johnson, sends him to the apron, and it clocks him again. Looked like a closed fist from the Hayman. Oh, and Jaeger using the chain to his benefit. Yanks down Eric Johnson. Johnson's flat on the mat, getting to his feet as Jaeger pulls him in. Oh, and drapes the chain, yanking Johnson into the top rope. Johnson now in a precarious position with that chain still hung up across the top rope. You gotta wonder what Jaeger's going for here. Maybe a sunset flip. That's a big man to pull down to the canvas, Frank Jaeger. And Johnson has that chain. Oh, and just nails Frank Jaeger on the dome with the chain. We're seeing some vicious shots early on. And this isn't Johnson's first rodeo. He's been in many dog collar matches before. Oh, and just wrapping the chain around the body of Frank Jaeger. And now just draping it across the neck, restricting the airway of Frank Jaeger. And now sitting on the back of Frank Jaeger, nearly 400 pounds of pressure. Oh, and now ripping at the nostrils. Unbelievable. You know, this is something Frank Jaeger asked for, but I'm not sure if he anticipated the viciousness of Eric Johnson in a scenario like this. And again, Johnson soaking it in, Maine's local legend, as he calls himself. He's been putting in the work on Frank Jaeger here. Brings Jaeger to his feet and introduces him to that top turnbuckle. Johnson once again gonna wrap the fist, maybe looking for a doom punch, but a kick from Jaeger. Still some life left in Frank Jaeger. Johnson charges again into the boots of Jaeger, who advances to the second rope now, trying to reel in the big man, and a big cross body. Only two from Eric Greenleaf. Not pretty, but effective from Frank Jaeger with that cross body. Takes Johnson off his feet. And Jaeger's got to capitalize. This is the opening he's been looking for in this match, as Johnson is stirring back to his feet. Jaeger still feeling the effects of that punch with the chain. Maybe looking for a head scissor there, but Johnson brings a power slam position. See you later. Frank Jaeger and a cover from Johnson. 2. Only 2 from referee Eric Greenleaf once again. And Johnson is distraught. It's not the time you want frustration setting in. You want to keep on Frank Jaeger, and that's exactly what Johnson's going to do as he's choking him once again, wrapping the chain around the neck of Frank Jaeger. And Jaeger looking worse for the wear right now as Johnson again soaking it in from the crowd here in Orono. He loves to hear the reaction. Whether they like him or they hate him, he knows he's Maine's local legend. And again, wrapping the fist in the chain. Jaeger ducking. Kick to the abdomen region of Johnson. And now he's going to wrap up Eric Johnson. Turnabout's fair play. As he hits that swinging neck breaker with the chain wrapped around the face of Eric Johnson. And Jaeger's got to capitalize here. I'm surprised he's still standing upright at this point, to be quite honest. Potentially looking for that single leg Boston Crab. We've seen him get victories with this before, but that's a big man to be turning over an Eric Johnson. And Johnson still got gas left in the tank, boots off Frank Jaeger, sends him all the way to the ropes, pulls him in, and Eric Johnson with a quick trap of the leg of Frank Jaeger. And now he's choking him once again. Chain wrapped around the neck. This could be it for Frank Jaeger. He's fading here. Johnson screaming at Frank Jaeger to quit. And Jaeger is fading. You can hear Orono coming alive for Frank Jaeger, but it may be too late for Frank Jaeger as he's getting choked, but he is attempting to get to a vertical base. I think Johnson let up the pressure for 1 second, and Jaeger took that opportunity. Big elbow, followed up by another one. Needs to get a flurry of offense here to take Johnson off his feet. Off the ropes comes Jaeger. Johnson tries to throw him over, but Jaeger, rips him backwards with that chain. Cover. 2. Only 2 once again. Desperation offense from Frank Jaeger. Very innovative offense at that, but still not paying off for Frank Jaeger. Just can't keep the shoulders of Eric Johnson down for the count of 3, and now Jaeger advancing to the second rope once again, maybe to the top this time. Could he be looking for another crossbody? Oh, not this time as Johnson yanking him down. That's the benefit of the chain for Eric Johnson. Yanking Jaeger halfway across the ring. A gnarly fall. And now Johnson gets some time to recover. And setting up for something here as Jaeger struggles to his feet in a doom punch from Eric Johnson. And this could be it. Cover. 1, 2, no! Honestly shocking there. We've seen Eric Johnson win many of matches with the Doom Punch, titles even in the state of Maine for many years with that Doom Punch, and now he's going to wrap it with a chain. Looking for it one more time, and it connects. And Frank Jaeger, not in a good way right now. And Johnson, cover, 1, 2, only 2 once again. You got to wonder if he took too much time getting into that pin there.
Now you're going to regret it. Get up.
Now just jaw-jacking with Jaeger, who can hardly get to his feet here. Using the ropes to try to pull himself to a vertical base. As Johnson waits for him to get to his feet. And here comes Johnson. Jaeger ducks the third Doom Punch. He's on the back of Johnson, restricting the airway. Again, gonna wrap Johnson with that chain. If he can get his fingers around it, he can. It's going across Johnson's face. And Johnson now, the one who's fading. Jaeger looking for some support from the Orono crowd here tonight. Johnson in a bad way right now. Chain wrapped around his neck. Airway restricted. Jaeger yanking for more pressure. But Johnson back to his feet, but Jaeger hopping right back up. And Johnson just gonna drill him into the corner. Big uppercut from Johnson. That's a lot of weight hitting you in the corner, especially with a smaller frame like Frank Jaeger. And now Eric Johnson, fireman's carry position. See you later. Little merry-go-round from Eric Johnson. 1, 2, 3, and that is it.